Hello dear friends, before going to the video, please subscribe our channel for more new videos and information. The grand finale of The Last Kingdom begins with a straw arrow shot in the direction of Aethelstan, symbolizing his steadfast refusal to surrender. Adrian Stiller, Beauty and the Beast, suffragette, as Aethelhelm decides they should play for time. Unfortunately, Constantin, Rod Hallet, Ant-Man, the hitman's bodyguard, refuses to submit to Aethelhelm's will. Witgar has a plan to use Elfwin, played by Fia Saban, House of the Dragon, as bait to attract Edward and his army, but he is foiled by Uhtred, played by Alexander Dreymon. American Horror Story. Coven, who shows up and attacks Witgar, played by Ossian Perret. The Witcher, urging Elfwin to flee. Bertrand also learns of Huston's death. The massive siege begins, and Edward, played by Timothy Innes, the favorite, the sense of an ending, stands. The Saxons are stopped in their tracks by hot oil, and Constantine's army is approaching on the horizon. Uhtred overhears that the enemy intends to devise a plan to fool Edward into thinking they're surrendering. Will Edward fall into Constantine's trap? Unfortunately, the answer is yes. Uhtred tries to persuade Edward not to proceed, but they are met with a hail of arrows, and everything the men have worked for is lost. Edward and his men are getting closer to the sea, as the battle between Uhtred and Edward's combined forces continues. Constantine decides to burn the fortress down. In the midst of the chaos, Edward is injured, and Uhtred spots Witgar on the ramparts and pursues him. Meanwhile, Aethelstan, Tolkien, Just Charlie, confronts Aethelhelm and demands that he confess the queen's death in front of his grandson. Aethelhelm tells Alfred the truth, who is shocked to learn of his betrayal. Depressed by the situation, Aethelhelm commits suicide, claiming he will die as a man of honor. Despite all of these deaths, the battle goes on, but it must end. Uhtred negotiates with Constantine for the release of his commander in exchange for the men he has kidnapped. Uhtred refuses to swear fealty to Scotland, insisting that the land remain Northumbria and not part of England, despite Edward's wishes. Uhtred chooses to keep the land and informs Edward that he is unfit to be the king who leads England forward in unity. While he will undoubtedly be angry, Edward agrees to allow the Danes to live in peace. As the episode concludes, Uhtred trains with Aethelstan, who defeats him in sword fighting. This is a foreshadowing of what is to come. History recalls Aethelstan as the great Anglo-Saxon king of our time. Uhtred looks to the horizon, whispering to himself, "Destiny is all," reflecting on his life's journey that has led him to this great moment. This was a grandiose ending to what was already a lengthy and grand period drama. The Last Kingdom is a visually and mentally enthralling story, and the series final is definitely bittersweet. Although this episode neatly ties everything up in terms of resolution, there is still the possibility of future spin-offs, not to mention the upcoming film. All viewers will have to do is wait and see.